One of the major areas that needs a lot of attention is the base experience of mapping. We've made a lot of changes here.
Alright, so here we go.
First, in-game maps have received a balance pass to the number of monsters, number of chests, number of magical rare monsters, number of essences, strongboxes, and precursor artifacts. You should generally find maps more rewarding than before. Maps generally specialize in one or more of these elements that they will be particularly rewarding in.
They're buffing maps, but then they're making maps kind of like, this will be the chest map. This will be the rare mob map. This will be the magic monster map. This will be the strongbox map. Right? So that's what he's saying. He's saying, okay, but overall better. And there's going to be increased flavor in terms of, what a map is specializing in, which is interesting. Interesting.
Now, towers are a thing that's very important for players to run often, but we only had one of them. We wanted to add more variety here as soon as possible.
So wait, this is a tower? Holy. So we've got like crazy hillside that you run up.
We've added 4 more tower maps.
Ooh.
Alpine Ridge, Sinking Spire.
Oh, Sinking Spire. It's like a sunken one? Okay.
Bluff,
okay, I like it.
and Mesa.
That's a tower. This is a tower. Okay.
We've also redone the existing Lost Towers map to make playing there less boring.
Yeah, okay, so that tower there you can see. You can clearly see this map here is not just like little stairway into room. It's like, okay, stairway into
the
large
existing
open
Lost
area.
Towers map to make playing there less boring.
Yeah, it is a lot better. It definitely looks, yeah, better. I think he says boring. It's weird that he says to like going there less boring, but it's like I think what the word he wanted to use there is less cancer.
We're now also spawning more maps with bosses. The rate was intended to be 1 in 4 maps, but in reality the rate was much lower due to some maps being unable to spawn bosses. We've increased the rate to compensate for this issue so that we can get the actually intended rate.
I was complaining about that.
We're also adding a new type of tablet that allows you to add bosses to your map.
I'm a boss, Andy. I like killing the bosses. Like if I could, I basically what I was saying is like if I could, I would just fight a boss in every single map.
With its own mod pool. Strongboxes also needed some love. They now spawn monsters faster, have a less annoying fog effect, and have also received changes to the timings and effects of the mods on them.
Needed some love. Okay, Strongboxes should have never been implemented in their current state. Okay, Strongboxes in the current game are fucking unacceptable and heinous. Okay, so the Strongboxes need to be about 15 times. No, I don't even know. Many magnitudes better. Okay.
Now, let's talk about visibility of effects. Many maps had too much clutter, preventing effects on the ground from rendering, causing you to be unable to see and dodge them. We've both changed the level of clutter on some maps, and changed some effects to make sure that they are always visible. In addition, elemental explosion effects have had visibility improved. Stick around for longer before they explode, and disappear without exploding if a rare monster dies.
So this should all plan to making the game feel more fair. Right, that's hopefully they're what they're going for there, right? Like they're trying to make it so it's less cancer, so you just don't feel like, oh, that was bullshit. So they're trying to remove the amount of deaths where it's like that was bullshit.
Volatile plants are also way easy to see before they explode.
Ooh.
Now we've also increased the zoom level on the Atlas, done a pass on various terrain collision issues in many maps.
Bro, before livestream went live. I was literally bitching about this. It was pissing me off. There's clearly a space where your character should be able to walk, and you try and walk there, and you can't. So the objects just need to be refined, where you can and cannot walk, which they're doing.
We've also improved the load times of opening the world map and Atlas panel. And we also now show the biome of a map on the hover for it.
What does that mean, biome? Biome grass. Ooh.
For other in-game content systems, we're focusing on getting all the rewards in line with what they should be. For Delirium, we recently fixed a bug which caused Delirium monsters to just not spawn after the starting part. And we've also buffed the rate of simulacrums dropping by 20% to make it more in line with the rate of finding the Expedition and Ritual bosses. For Ritual, we've made Omens now appear in the Ritual Tribute window 60% more often.
So they already appeared at a rate of 0%, so then 60% more of 0 is still 0, so that's cool though that they did that. Now, I must admit, I regret because I broke 2 really insane items that I was waiting. All I needed to do was wait for everything that says your Chaos Orb only affects suffixes. And now maybe there's a chance I'll actually get one, and then I'm going to be pissed off.
For Expedition, we've improved the rarity from the shops, but we'll be wanting to make some more substantial changes to the rewards for this league later on.
So Expedition is basically still dog shit. So yeah, so we're just starting off. We're getting more higher base tier items. So they're basically giving you more rare items, so you got a better chance of getting a better item. But but they're still buffing the fuck out of this.
Now, one of the major concerns that we're often seeing is that getting to play Pinnacle content just takes too long, and that when you do finally get there, you only get one attempt and don't get a chance to learn the boss. In order to address these concerns, we're making the following changes. First, we're making the Citadel spawn closer to the center of the Atlas, and we've also added an effect so you can see them in the fog of war from further away.
God damn. I mean, that change is insane, right? That change is insane. So basically, you just progress out till you see a white light, then you go towards the white light. Is this the best way of doing it? I don't know. Is this like a band-aid fix that gets the problem sorted out now, fast? Yeah. I think that's the play. Because they're focusing on developing the core game. That are, something like this is like, do they really spend a lot of time? I think it's better to just get it done and then just work on the core game, get it done. Because I feel like Endgame is going to look vastly different to what we're seeing now is like the beta version of the Endgame. I think it's going to look vastly different.
To address the problem of only having one attempt, on the Arbiter of Ash you will now get up to 6 respawn attempts. Respawns can only be triggered by the person who put in the keys, and everyone on your party will be respawned at the same time. Leaving the map still forfeits your attempt, so you'll still need to fight the boss with the build you walked into the map with. Higher difficulties of the boss will lower the number of respawn attempts you get, but you should know the mechanics of the fight by then, right? Now, we'll also be adding respawns to other Pinnacle content as well over time. Another thing that players have noticed...
So that's a pretty massive change. I really thought the most eloquent way of doing it was to reduce the amount of respawns you get for every time you increase the boss difficulty. Wait, did he say that?
Difficulties of the boss will lower the number of respawn attempts you get. But
Okay, well, they're doing exactly what I suggested they should do. Oh, okay, well, then I'm just spaced out.
Now, we'll also be adding respawns to other Pinnacle content as well over time. Another thing that players have noticed is that there are less keys from Faradin Citadels on the market, and thought that it was because the Citadel spawns less often. It turns out, though, that this is just because the boss kills players more often than the others. We've made a few changes to that boss to bring it in line with the other bosses. A lot of people have reported that many of our unique items are feeling underwhelming. Uniques are often designed to be build enabling at high levels, even if they're low level uniques. But we realised that we do need to make sure that more uniques feel powerful when you first get them at low levels too. In this patch, we are buffing a lot of uniques.
So I looked at all these changes, and they're all pretty inconsequential. I mean, this looks good for leveling as bleed. This looks like you could maybe make a build around this Frost Breath, perhaps.
These changes should make finding uniques at lower levels a lot more fun, and make subsequent...
And then the buff to the Painter Savant gloves also are kind of nice. These are just going to be really, really strong gloves, for damage dealing. Especially in the early game, right? Like, you can just use these, and these will carry your damage early. What is this? This quarter stuff is weird. I wonder what you can do with this as well. That's interesting. 28% increased strength as well. Pretty potent. Like that. This shit on a gemling with overleach, bro. That's what I would fuck with. I would fuck with that for sure.
Character playthrough is more fun too when you have some great uniques to use. We're also changing a few other things to make finding rares better at higher levels too. First, we're changing mod weightings a bit to make sure that there are less bad mods. Another fix is making high tier items no longer cull the highest tier modifier of a given mod type. This bug caused bows and crossbows to not spawn with attack speed at tier 5 rarity, and rings to not spawn with life at tier 5 rarity.
Damn.
Another change we're making is to make it so that socketables such as...
That's crazy though. This is kind of crazy.
Runes can now be overwritten with another socketable.
That's kind of crazy, bro. It goes from like a crafting an item to like, oh, this is just like a crafted mod that you can change at any point in time whenever you feel like it. And especially in HCSSF, whenever you want to put a new piece of gear on, but you can't balance a particular res, now you can quickly shift around a lot of res. I'm okay with that change. You can see, like me right now in the game, because I can't change the runes, I'm sitting here without putting runes in there because I don't want to waste a good item. I'm losing power. So now I can just go, oh yeah, do you know what? That lightning res that I always wanted, slap it in there. Boom. And now, guess what? I can now run elemental weakness maps, which is really nice because I couldn't run that before.
Now, as we continue to play, we still find many balance anomalies with specific monsters or bosses that can be nasty if you encounter them. This patch contains a pass adjusting a large number of those monsters and bosses. We'll save the full list for the patch notes, but there are a significant number of changes here that should address many cases where monsters or bosses felt too hard in certain circumstances. Here are a few examples to get a taste of what kind of changes you can expect. The Silver Fist Commander roll now does a lot less damage. Plague Bearer's Detonate Dead can no longer be used from off-screen and has better telegraphing.
Okay.
Forsaken Miners throw less grenades, have improved visuals, and deal less damage.
I think Rob was saying this was OP. That's crazy. I love how they brought up the gorilla nerf, but then it's funny because the gorilla thing, the thing that kills you is the slam, right? Not the roll, I feel like.
And Lost Men Zealots can no longer meteor you from off-screen either.
Those meteors are brutal, bro. They're brutal.
Many other changes just like those. We'll be enabling the same system that PoE 1 has, which allows you to subscribe to item filters on the website. For now,
that's crazy. The fact that they released two consoles legitimately without item filters is insanity, bro. Like, what was GGG smoking when they thought that was going to be fine? Holy. Oh yeah, never sync followers. Tai Killers filters, bro. Oh shit, Pox filters. Let's go, bro.
We've done on the PoE 1 website to allow us to get this feature out as fast as possible. Later on, we'll improve the user experience of this and put it on the Path of Exile 2 website. This patch also contains a bunch of other smaller changes and bug fixes that I'm sure you guys will appreciate, like buffing armor and scavenged plating.
So they basically confirmed the armor buff is not massive. What did they say? The armor is buffed by about 15%. Are they going to make it so scavenged plating is at least consistent versus bosses? Like, they better have a way better way of keeping it up on bosses. Otherwise, it's going to be still a sad, sad reservation.
Showing the number of uses left in your charms, as well as an effect when they trigger.
The song.
Yep, I complained about that UI element many, many times. Good job, GG.
Fixing the music that Una was supposed to play in town.
Yep.
And plenty of other little fixes and improvements throughout the game. Now, we have a huge amount of much more meta-shifting changes that we know we want to make. And one of the best things about having the game in early access with the endgame is that we now have a much better idea of where we want character power to be and what the balance of bosses and monsters should be relative to that.
Okay, Giga nerfs are coming, boys. Giga nerfs are coming.
But those types of changes are going to have to wait until we are ready to make a new league with a new economy for people to play in.
The fact that they're stacking all this into one patch is kind of like a bit sad because, you know, I kind of want it to be the changes now. And what I mean by that is the nerfs and the rebalancing and everything now. But then at the same time, the trade-off is, hey, this next patch is going to be booty as fuck. They're going to, not only are they going to load it with a bunch of nerfs, which is going to be Giga W, they are also going to be stacking it with content. They've confirmed in the Q&A it's going to be loaded with content. So they're going to have, like, we're going to get like a new ascendancy pretty much, like, if not multiple ascendancies with weapons. It's going to be, yeah. It's going to be nuts. Ultimately, what it is they just don't want people to get super negative. Instead of just nerfing the fuck out of people and then giving people nothing, they're just packaging it with, like, it's kind of like a Trojan horse. They're going to give you, like, a really nice, shiny, fucking, all these new things you can play with. At the same time, like, they're coming in, they're slitting the fucking throats of all the fucking OP, ridiculous builds. The Spark guy, he's sleeping, bro. He's sleeping in his bed.